Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming back with us again on The Voice of Houston. Dr. Clara Brent, your host, and Dr. Bobby Mills, your co-host. We left off talking about everything else, but we wanted to talk about how the president is acting in regards to what is looking like it's going to not be his party that he's going to be depending on to get things done right here in the United States of America. And I just wanted to know how you feel toward it, Doc, in regards to the psychology of this thing. Will it give him much more problems than he's having now? Right now?
No, I don't think so, Doc. I think that Biden is among the few presidents that we've had in modern times that has God conscience. And he understands where we are as a nation at this particular time in history, because a nation divided against itself
cannot stand.
Mm-hmm. And we know that. And what Biden understands is that the Republicans may have a slim majority. They may end up with a 2 or 3 seat advantage in the House out of the 435 people.
Okay.
And in the Senate, more than likely, since there are 3 seats now to be decided, Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona. So the Republicans right now have 49 confirmed, and the Democrats have 47.
Oh, I thought it was 48. Okay.
They got 47.
All right.
Or 48 confirmed. And so if they end up winning the 3 that's out there to be decided, then they'll have 51.
The Republicans will have 51.
No, the Democrats going to have 51.
Okay.
So they will have the majority.
Still.
And they still can pass basically anything they want to pass out of the Senate.
Out to the Senate or out of the Senate?
Out of the Senate. They can pass whatever bills they want to pass, whether it's appropriation or just legislation to try to make the quality of life of individuals better. So, and even if they lose one of the 3 and it ends up 50-50 the way it is now, Kamala Harris, the vice president, can break the tie.
Exactly.
So they still have, the majority. So they can afford to lose one of the 3 seats that's out there, senatorial seats. Biden understands all of this. This is why they asked him this morning, now that you potentially have lost the majority in the House, how do you plan to change your program? He said, hey, we're not changing anything. Because what we're trying to do and what I have proposed as a programmatic format for America is what's best for everyone, what's best for the society. So we're going to continue to do what we've been doing and then try to work across the aisle with the Republicans in the House. He's already reached out to potentially the person who's going to be the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, and said, hey, let's sit down and see where we can come together and have a meeting of the minds on various issues and so forth. So it's not going to be as bad as it could have been, or as bad as many people thought that it was going to be, because usually in midterm elections with any president, you get wiped out.
Yeah. That's true.
Obama's first term,
He got wiped out.
he got wiped out. He lost about 60 seats
Yes.
in the House because of Obamacare, trying to make sure that there was
Help
universal
for the people
health
that
care
needed
for
help.
individuals and so forth. So here's what Biden understands, and this is what I can appreciate about Biden. Biden is among the few people that have ever been president that really has a spiritual God conscience. Now, of the presidents in my lifetime that had a God conscience, that really, the person that had the most God conscience of any president in my lifetime is Jimmy Carter.
Yes. And I was about to say that too.
The reason why Jimmy Carter is alive today,
because
you know that Jimmy Carter knows God and God knows Jimmy Carter.
Exactly right.
The reason why he is alive today and his wife, Jimmy Carter, maybe almost 100 years old now. And he still done had brain cancer, all kinds of things. But Jimmy Carter, thank God, is still alive as a living testimony.
Yes, he is.
To the love and grace of God that was in Jesus Christ. So, having said all of that, we're not in
a bad shape.
A bad shape. We're in a bad shape.
But not a bad shape.
Because you got some ungodly people
that's in office.
In Congress. in office. We got some ungodly folk in Commissioner's Court. We got some ungodly people in City Hall.
Yes.
Because their perspective about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness
exactly right
is about
self-satisfaction.
It's all about me.
Yeah, self-satisfaction.
It's about my lifestyle and my pleasure principles and this and that and so forth, and not thinking about
the other person,
why they are in office or why they deserve to be in office.
Exactly.
And in Harris County now, we got some problems because as black people, we are sleeping
away our future, I can tell you that.
The wilderness of not being totally aware and involved in our communities at the local level so that we can understand the nature of politics and what we need to be doing and who we need to vote for and why we need to vote for them.
I want to know why do we believe lies faster than we believe the truth?
You know why? You know why a person believe a lie?
Why?
Because you ain't got to do nothing but believe.
when the truth come about, you have to go to work on it.
No, you got to go to work.
You got to go to work when the truth.
You got to go to work to find out whether or not it's the truth.
It's still a lie.
That's what the problem is, rather than whether it's a lie. So most people will believe a lie because all they got to do is believe the lie.
And then push it on.
And then pass it on.
Just pass it on.
And that's what's going on in our society, unfortunately.
We believe in lies.
Believe the lie.
What do you think is going to happen?
That's why Trump has so many followers.
I was just about to ask you about that. He's having...
Trump told 35,000 plus lies, public lies. Now, we don't know how many told private. But they calculated.
That was one they got.
Calculated.
That was one they got over. You talking about getting over the hump? That was one they really got over the hump. I'm telling you.
They calculated empirically, like I said, that he told over 35.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because.
So now, what do you think? Do you think Trump still has a hold on the Republican Party as a leader?
Oh yeah.
A president. A potential president again?
Oh, yeah, because the Republican Party has allowed itself to really be taken over by the old Dixiecrat Southern mentality. See, it's about the Republican Party primarily is about the Southern Confederacy.
Exactly. Now, what was it, last week? Reverend Felden and I were absent. You had to attend some business about your wife and everything. And we had a discussion on here about how we look at the life of many people and how they carry themselves and what they do, and he said that the answer is God.
Yeah.
And now,
because the answer is true.
But how?
And God is truth. Because in the beginning was the truth, and the truth was with God, and without the truth, not anything that was made was made. Period.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So how are we going to get that into the hearts and minds of the people that have lost that understanding? I know you said through the church.
Yeah.
But what about the presidents who we elect? The senators who we elect. Now they can lie, just like we had our former president lied up a breed. And the majority of the people that were following him still believes in him. And so how do you discern? How can we get them? How can we get those to people that are not voting, that should be voting, to discern what is right and what is wrong? Like, how can we say to the people, consider this person because of?
Well,
because that was another thing. Let me just say this too. Felden brought up the fact that the Republican Party was the party that freed the blacks.
Abraham Lincoln
threw Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
And after Abraham Lincoln was
shot him in his head.
They shot him. But after he was shot, there came the vice president named
Andrew
Johnson.
Yeah.
And he set the whole situation that Abraham had set up.
Johnson was a Democrat.
And he set the whole situation. No, his vice president took over that.
Yeah, but the vice president was Andrew Johnson. He was a Democrat.
In the Republican Party?
No, he was the vice president. See, Lincoln chose Andrew Johnson as his vice president, and he was a Democrat.
So how did he become a Republican?
He was never a Republican. He didn't become no Republican.
Well, how can he be a vice president if he was? Oh, telling me?
Yeah.
You telling me that the man that Abraham Lincoln
chose as his
vice president was of the
Democrat.
Was of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, he was a Democrat.
And so it messed up.
Because what he was trying to do was preserve the union,
include everybody. Yeah, keep everything together.
He thought that he wasn't quite as extreme, but those Southern Dixiecrats, they got a hold of him, and what he did was once they shot Lincoln in his head,
they killed him.
He withdrew all of the troops from the South and allowed them to go back to the old ways of dealing with things the way they had dealt with them in the past, and actually re-enslave black people.
That's what he did.
And that's why black people never got the 40 acres and the mule.
And everything else that was supposed to have happened.
Right.
But
and we know why.
Yeah, we know why now. Because he chose somebody.
Black people had gotten the 40 acres and the mule. White people in the South really didn't know how to work.
No, because all the blacks was working. Everybody.
They wasn't doing anything but riding around on the horses and whatever.
And with a whip.
And so
maybe raising some pigs or something like that.
The economics of the South.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that was all about. But the problem we have today, and here's where we as black people must come together. We got to rebuild our families and our churches.
Yes.
And if we rebuild our families and our churches, we can rebuild our communities. The only way we are going to resolve our economic problems
Positions. Yes.
and the structural problems of being excluded that we face is that we come together in our churches and in our homes, and that's where we have failed each other.
I get you. I
We won't
understand
come together in our families the way we used to.
that. No, we don't. We don't.
See, we had those strong families. Man, even right now, I got some cousins, first cousins. We get along like brothers.
Because of the
We
way you
grew up
all were
together,
raised.
looking
Yes.
out for one another.
That's the way I am with my first cousins. All of us seemed
Yeah,
like
we
some-
grew up,
like
hey,
sisters and brothers.
respecting and loving one
Yeah.
another, looking out for one another.
Exactly.
And having that godly love for one another. Hey, man, you like my brother.
Right. Exactly.
Even though, we may have had
misunderstandings, but we bring it right back into the good part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might fall off, but we fall back in. That's for
Well,
sure.
I ain't never really had no fallout with my cousin. I had one cousin, man, he was so messed up in his head about this girl. When I was a senior in high school, and his girlfriend, he had just finished, he was 1 year ahead of me, he had just finished high school. Man, she can go to the prom. He made me take her. I couldn't take my own girlfriend. I told him, I said, cuz, man, you all messed up, man. No, man. She want to go to the prom, but she ain't going unless she go with you.
What you say?
Man, ain't discipline. And then he drive us and drop us off.
And he knew he had somebody gonna watch for him. Gonna watch out for him.
Yeah, she want to go to the prom. Oh man.
Yeah,
that's that William Jr.
That was that closeness that the families had. Every Thanksgiving, everybody came together. Every Christmas, everybody came together and looked out for one another.
Well,
Don't live in the same neighborhood. Sisters live in 2 or 3 houses down, and everybody was just.
It just made me think. I got this cousin Betty that lives in Washington D.C. And she be following behind Farrakhan and talking all that stuff and everything. And so the other day, I get this beautiful plate of our grandmother. She had put our grandmother on
the plate.
Beautiful plate, and sent it to me, and it made me cry.
Yes.
And I thought about my grandmother, and I called her up, and I said, "Girl, Betty," I said, "I really appreciate you." I said, "How did you do that?" She said, "Well, I was just thinking about our grandmother." But we don't have that kind of situation with one another anymore.
And that's where it ought to be. That's
the way it ought to be. Because that's the only way we're going to overcome the institutional barriers and the racism that exists. And now we up against it because
we're not together
we got some mess going on in politics in Harris County.
Yes.
That is totally, absolutely against us.
Yes, sir.
As people in a society, and especially as us as black people. And we have some black people who are representing themselves.
They don't care nothing about
us. No, they representing themselves. They're not representing you or me or your family.
Not. They don't care a thing about us.
Because you can't go to them and get anything done because that love and that unity
is not there.
That
caring is not caring. It's not
really.
Because everybody used to look
universalized purpose that we once had.
Yes.
We don't have that anymore.
I can remember. It's just a reminiscence, you all. But I can remember that you left your bicycle outside, the doors wide out open, and you leave town even much, and the neighbors would look out for you in your house, look out to a house, and you could go down to the downtown, go shopping, do everything else you wanted to do, and come back, and nothing was missing out of your house, and your bicycle was still on the side of it in the backyard, and eventually all of that
door open, so you keep your house aired out.
Yes, the dyke and the front door was open because we didn't have air conditioning. We might have had a ceiling fan or something like that. What they used to call it? It wasn't. Yeah, it was a ceiling fan. The attic fan, that's the name of it. We used to have the attic fan. You turn the attic fan up, let the windows up, and then you kick all the heat out the house. But we had those kind of people that cared, because everybody was involved in the community in regards to one another and looking out for each other.
Well, it wasn't about money.
Yeah, it wasn't about money. It was about caring.
Our central value system was never about money. See, God knows you need money.
And God knows you need everything else.
That's why God said, seek first the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
And all of his righteousness and all this other stuff
will be
added unto you.
That's exactly right.
So God knows you need food,
clothes.
God knows you. And look here,
shoes.
You don't see no birds falling out of the sky
because of lack of hunger.
Because they're hungry.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, we got to get back to what we call the old landmark. And make it a God thing. We trying to make it our thing.
Yeah, and make it a God thing.
When it's a God thing.
Yes, it is.
And it's got to be a God thing in politics.
Yes, Lord.
It's got to be a God thing in education.
Just like it's a God thing here at UHN, you all. It's a God thing. Yes, it is.
Well, look, getting back to politics. Sometimes, and I'm thinking very seriously about sending Governor DeSantis and the people in Florida notification that there is a message in the storm.
Yeah, every time you turn around, it's a message in the storm.
That there's a message
in the storm. You gotta stop doing what you're doing. Exactly.
If you make it to heaven as Noah, as Jonah.
Yes.
Because the people in Florida, Florida is really politically a messed up state.
Unbalanced. It's very unbalanced.
It's a very unbalanced. It's something wrong with Floridians.
Mm-hmm.
And what's wrong is you got a resort type state where you've had people from all over the country
flock there after they gotten older,
go to Florida
for their retirement.
And it's all about a material way of life. It's all about materialism.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't want anything to interfere with that.
Yes, Lord.
And so and this is what's amazing to me, every Democrat
mm-hmm.
that was on the ballot in Florida lost.
Big time.
Hey, Houston, Texas, United States. You hear me?
I heard you.
Every Democrat. Now that's unbelievable.
Sure it is.
Now it had to be one of them Democrats.
If nobody voted and that was Democratic.
It'd be one of them Democrats that was all right. But every Democrat in the state
of
Florida law.
Mm-hmm.
Now they just had a few weeks ago. I wonder
what kind of laws they passed to make sure that it happened.
They just had a few weeks ago. They just had a horrible storm, and thank God that they're recovering. And President Biden and the administration was very, very responsive.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting another one today.
Yeah, it's coming. It's on its way.
So there's a message and stuff, and I hope and pray that people in Florida, you get the message.
Yeah.
That God's trying to tell you
something.
And I hope you understand what it is. Get right. Get right.
Yeah.
Get right.
As TDJ said, get ready, get ready, get ready.
Yeah.
There's no way possible that you're not going to escape.
No, you're not going to escape.
Mm-hmm. Get ready to do the things that God wants you to do.
You're not going to escape because it's not your thing.
It's God.
It's a God thing.
How about that? How about that?
You want to say that again, Dr. Clara?
It's a God thing.
It's a God thing.
Yes, it is.
And it's unfortunate that even, again, going back to the politics of what's going on in Harris County, we have a messed up situation here. We got a messed up situation.
Oh, yes.
We got a lot of issues that we need to resolve.
Our Latino sisters and brothers need to
we're becoming more
too on this.
We're becoming more polarized.
Right.
Where you have one particular mentality and orientation, cultural type, or calling the shots.
Yeah.
And we live in a multicultural society.
Multicultural city. It's ready.
That has to be inclusive of everyone and all entities and so forth. And that's not happening.
No.
Something else has taken place that we need to address quick and in a hurry.
Yes, sir.
It's still a God thing.
Yeah, it's a God thing. And that's that. It made me think. Reverend Felden and I were talking one day by ourselves, and it just came to me about it's a God thing here at UHN, and today you come and say the same thing. It's a God thing.
Yeah.
It's a God thing all over, but here at UHN, it is a God thing, and it has been sanctioned through you.
Yeah.
You sanctioned it today. Yeah. It's a God thing here.
Yeah.
And it's a God thing, going to be a God thing in Houston. You just wait and see. Yeah. It's going to be a God thing in Houston, and it's going to start right here at UHN. Y'all continue to keep us in your prayers.
Because God is not fooled.
No.
Nor is he mocked.
Right.
We reap what we sow.
Exactly.
And
you sow crazily, you're going to reap something crazy. Exactly. And good, you reap so good.
And the sad thing about it is, the old folks used to say, time is winding down. Because God is angry with the wicked.
Yes, sir.
Every
wickedness. Yes.
Day. Not one day or some days. Every day God is angry.
And you can see every day that what he has predicted in the Bible, and we are overlooking it. Each and every day we are overlooking what he has said, and it's coming to be. You just watch. And as Christ has told us to do, is to watch. Don't be crazy and sit back and not watch. Watch, because this thing is coming to turn. We don't know when he's coming back, of course, but we do know that it's close, very close.
Well, we know this. We do know this. We know that God gave the word, and great was those who spoke the word, who published the word.
Yeah.
And the word is the truth, and the truth is the light.
Come on now.
And it's still
yes,
a
Lord.
God thing, because the earth is the Lord's.
And the fullness
and
thereof.
The fullness thereof.
Sure enough.
And all that dwell therein. And we need love. And we need more love and more And so, Houston, get right with God.
It's time for all of us to start thinking more about who is our ruler and not just ourselves. We don't rule ourselves. We have a ruler, and he's coming back, you all. So be ready for him. Now it's our time to leave, but we want to say we love you. God loves you too. Keep the paper in your car. Let's keep Houston clean, because God is a clean and loving master. God bless. Take care.
Running over.